All right, looks like it's recording. All right, so we're on page 110. It says in 1980, a painting sold for, what do they have there? It looks like $1,575. Then it said in 2015, the same painting sold for 5 times as much. And then they ask, what's the cost of the painting in 2015? And so you've seen these kinds of examples before. In this one, they're using a bar diagram to represent the problem. So they have the cost of the painting right here in 1980, and then in 2015, they have the cost right here, and it's worth 5 times as much. Of course, another way you could do it is simply 1,575 times 5 equals P, and P would represent the cost of the painting. And I look at that painting and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that painting's not worth that much. But anyways, it looks like something I might be able to do. Or Mr. Oldham, you know, looks like one of his paintings right there. Yours would be worse? Okay, yeah. All right. I don't know, Mr. Button, how are you at artwork? Are you pretty good at art? Could you do something decent like that? Okay, all right. All right, I think I would have added some birds flying. Look at that. Doesn't that add to the value of the... No, they're not. Birds with kind of wings go like that.
Yeah, but it's like the shadows it's like they're upside down.
Then I could draw...
They're flying upside down. If you do shadows, at least do them right.
I could draw a monster.
Eating them.
Okay. And then a 5th grade boy running away. Okay. Now that painting would be worth some money. All right. So one thing I want to point out to you guys, and we've talked about this before, but I wanted to mention it again because they'll talk about it some more in this section here, and that is letters in an equation. So if I had something simple like 10 times B equals 30, what do you call B? I'm not asking for what the number is. What do you call it? What do you call it? No, you don't call it B. Well, you could call it B, but there's another name for it. Miss Maldonado, what do you think? What do you call it? Don't remember? That was 10 points. Miss Ugisa, 20 points. Not paying attention. 30 points, Miss Pavase. 40 points, Mr. Ward. Everybody from group 1. 50 points, Mr. Graham. Save the day. What do you call it? What do you call it? Mr. Eberhardt. What are we up to, 60? All right. Hey, raise your hand if you think you know it. I already called on you. All right, Miss. What? Oh, okay. I like that answer. It's not right. That's not what I'm looking for. And put up 50 points. I like that. Her response was, you call it algebra. And in part, she's right, because I think I've mentioned that before. But more specifically, when you see a letter in a problem, it's called a variable. And you don't know what the variable is. I mean, you can call it B, but you don't know what the number is. Of course, some of you can look at this problem and you know, oh, well, it's 3, because I know 10 times 3 is 30. But as you progress, raise your hand if you have a comment. As you progress, the problems are going to get a lot more complicated, and you won't know what B is, or A, or C, or W. You'll have to do some things to get that variable all by itself, and then you'll know what it is. But I just wanted to remind you guys that that's called a variable, and when you have variables in problems, she was correct, it's often called algebra. All right? So to convince me, let's see, how can you use the estimation to see if 7,875 is reasonable? So they're talking about the problem example that they gave you. How would you estimate, what would you use for estimation instead of 1,575? What number might you pick? Miss McGee, what do you think? 20 points, Miss Rieger. 30 points, Miss Jennings. 40 points, Miss Ramirez. 50 points, Mr. Hollenbach. 60 points, Mr. Williams. 70 points, Mr. Moyers. One stick left, and she's not here today, Miss Gage. Put all these back. All right, I see some hands up. Mr. Graham, talk to me. 8,000. Okay, so you misunderstood my question. That's a good answer if I was to estimate this. But they're asking you to estimate the 1,575. Mr. Graham, I'll stick with you. What would you round that down or up to estimate?
I round it to 1,500.
That's exactly what I would do. Which doesn't necessarily mean it's right, it's just what I would do. So 1,500, which is kind of like, what, 15, right, Ms. Ramirez? It's like 15. So what's 15 doubled?
30.
Yeah, you guys should know about that by now because I've used that a lot in mental math. It's 30. What's 30 doubled? 60. What's 60 plus 15?
75.
75. So, if we just rounded this to 1,500, 1,500 plus 1,500 is 3,000. 3,000 plus 3,000 is 6,000. Plus,
75.
so 7,500, which is kind of close to, where are we here? This. So, I would say it's reasonable. That's what they're asking. That's what they were talking about there. Okay? All right. Let's move down a little bit here. Oh, here, I would go ahead and just put down, and you guys can do the same thing here. I would use 1,500 for a total of what did we say, 7,500, I think? Make sure you put the dollar sign, okay? All right, number one, write a real-world problem that uses multiplication to draw a bar diagram and write the equation to solve your problem. So I don't want to grade 29 different problems. So just put an X through that. I have no desire to grade all those. All right, moving down, or moving over rather. Number two, write and solve the equation. Sharon's stationery store has 1,219 boxes of cards. May's Market has 3 times that. How many boxes of cards does May's Market have? And so you can see the bar diagram they did there. Here's Sharon's, and then May's Market has 3 times that, so they just did 3 boxes, and you need to solve that. It's going to be 1,219 times 3. Pretty self-explanatory there. All right, down at the bottom, independent practice. Same thing, it says draw a bar diagram, which is kind of confusing because they already did it there for you. I'm not sure why they're saying for you to draw another one. So there's 14 theaters at the mall. Each theater has 175 seats. How many seats in all? It's going to be 14 times 175. So that represents Mr. Willard, Mr. Willard, Mr. Willard. Put your feet on the floor. Try to focus, thank you. So it's going to be 14 times 175. I'll let you guys do that. And then number 4, Brad lives 12 times as far away from the ocean as Jenny, or Jenny, I think it is. If Jenny lives 48 miles from the ocean, how many miles from the ocean does Brad live? Okay, so let's do this. Here's Jenny, if I'm saying that right. Gennie. Okay, and so she lives, that's too big. I gotta make it smaller. She lives 48 miles from the ocean. So there's part of a bar representing that. So now we need to do Brad. So he lives 12 times as far. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got to make mine smaller. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I kind of fudged there. They got smaller as I went, but so that would be what? 48. And you would put 48 in each one. And you would do that 12 times. So it's just simply going to be 48 times 12. And then I'm looking for the answer to that one. Questions on that, anybody? No? Number 5, hardware store ordered 13 packs of nails from a supplier. Mr. Williams, you paying attention? 13 packs of nails from a supplier. Each pack contains 155 nails. How many nails did the store order? I want to know I'm not looking for the answer. I just want to see what the equation would be. Ms. Ugisa, what's the equation for that? Say that again, nice and loud.
155 times 13.
Okay. Easy peasy, easy peasy. All right, next page. Look at that. There's that word that Miss Guerin said earlier, algebra, for number 6. Sandy School has 1,030 students. Carla's school has 3 times as many. So you can write and solve the equation. You guys can do that. So I want to make some of these, I'm going to make some of these worth a stick. So let me go back to the top and I'll circle some of these here. How about, let's make number 3. Whoops, if I can get it right here. So number 3 is a stick. And we will grade these on Monday, obviously. And then next page, I'm going to let you guys work your own juices in your brain. You do. This is worth a stick. And number 8. Okay. And maybe one more. Let's see here. All right. All right. This one is not a stick, but Mr. Oldham, it is worth 100 points. If wrong, you lose 100 points. I'm going to say the same thing for this one too.
Mr. Major.
I'm gonna end this video here. 15 minutes, that wasn't too bad. Say goodbye.